Hello, Global Studies students. So I want to quickly go over with you guys how to format your bibliographies so that they look really nice when you go to print them for your exhibit board, or if you are uploading them into your website, or including them as a separate thing for your documentary, or however you're going to actually be turning in your bibliography. I want it to look nice, and I want it to be professional in its appearance. So we're going to go over how to do that. To start, I want to remind you guys that this on the History Day website, when we're looking at the detective hat, how to make a bibliography is all here in slide or step number 4. And that brings you to this page here with lots of details about how to annotate your bibliography, where to go if you are still looking for how to cite a particular source. You can find that citation helper guide here. But I definitely would strongly encourage you to look at some actual bibliographies so that you can see how those bibliographies are supposed to look. They're supposed to be very professional in their appearance, with very consistent sort of font styles and types. And I don't know what's going on here, why it's just loading slow. So you can see here the nice full annotation. You can see the proper citation. I would strongly encourage you to delete out any of the URLs. URLs are not required, and they just kind of make it look messy. You can include the URL. I just would not recommend it. But you can see throughout everything looks the same. So we're going to try to figure out how you can actually make things look nice. So to start with, and by the way, I'm trying to do this all in one take, so if I mess up, I apologize. To start with, you have your copy of the bibliography here in your Google slideshow. I would start by copying it over into an actual document. So you can just do a command copy and command paste, and if it's working. Okay, so actually for some reason the command copy didn't work, so what I did instead is I went into this document here, and I went to just the edit copy, and then over here, now these are my primaries, so I want to make it separate for my secondaries, and then I just went edit, paste. All right, so I have that all separated. Now I do need to obviously title it and all that. But to start, I want to make sure that we have our page set up right. So I'm going to go to File, Page Setup, and we're wanting to have 1-inch margins. So I'm going to switch that all 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. We also want to be consistent with our font style and our font type. But before we do that, I think if you have a bibliography that looks kind of like this, you have maybe some weird things that you copied, like from a source where it cites it for you automatically, and there might be like some weird font in the background or some highlighting. Here we have a different size text than here. So the best thing I think to do is if yours is really wonky, I would just go edit, select all, and then format, clear formatting. And then it takes away any of the weirdness that might have been there before and puts it all into this sort of standard. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, again, edit, select all, and I'm going to choose a 12-point font. You can go with an Arial or a Times New Roman, make sure that it's all consistent. You do want it to be left aligned. You don't want things kind of in the middle. So now we've got a pretty good start. Everything is in the same font style, same font type. You know what I should have done is I should have actually put in my primaries and secondaries beforehand. So maybe I need to go back and see which is which. So history.com starts my secondaries with Morse code. History.com, it is here. So I'm going to make this go onto a separate page. You do want your primaries and secondaries to be on different pages. I'm going to go ahead and title this. I'm going to start with bibliography. It's not super specific as to how you need to do this. And then I'm going to do primary. I'm going to go ahead and just bold that. Now, some kids are wanting to make this nice hanging indentation that you see in the example here, where everything is left aligned except for the first line. I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's go to one that's kind of got a nice formatting already. So this one unfortunately doesn't have any annotations yet. So it would work the same though if you had an annotation. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the end of the first line, and some people like it to be bold, the whole citation. So let's say that your annotation says this is a fantastic source. Obviously, your annotation should be better than that. And I can't even type right now. We don't want that bold though. Let's say we want it to look kind of like, sorry guys. Okay, let's say we want it to look kind of like this, where it's not bolded. Yay for me. I don't know, something. This is your annotation, okay? What you do to make that hanging indent is you go to the very end of the first line and you hit your return, and then when you go to the second line, you're going to backspace it and tab over, and then do the same for the next line, and you have it all nicely done. So again, what you would do for a hanging indentation is you would go to the end of the line that you want, you hit the return, backspace, and then you tab it over, and then it should all be nicely aligned. If that doesn't work out for you, again, the hanging indentation is not necessary. But what you do want is you want something that looks nice and consistent like this. You have annotated bibliography, primary sources. At the top you have your name, junior division, whatever your title is, and to do that you would go into the header, so you can make your header that way. You can make it right aligned. And I'm not going to keep you guys, so I've already taken up 6 minutes of your time. So again, what you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're making sure that it looks nice and that it looks consistent and that it is something that is professional in its appearance. So doing some file clear formatting and things like that. Okay, I'm done. I promise. All right, email me if you have any questions.